Well, hello retro game players. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Marcus, and welcome to a episode of Reading Retro. Now, Reading Retro started out on Retro Gaming Sunset, which is a show that is on the channel. You can go check it out, and it's got lots of different guests that come on, and we have 5 different kind of categories of reviews. And so usually Reading Retro is about 5 minutes long. But in this case, we're going to do the full kind of in-depth look at GameFan, and this is going to be from Volume 1, Issue 3. If you're interested in seeing Issue 2, you can check out Retro Gaming Sunset Episode 2, and I actually talk all about that, sort of, and why I don't have the first edition or the first issue, and so I talk about that and a little bit of the history. So if you go to that video, which I'll link right here, it starts around like a 23-minute mark, I think, is when it starts. So if you want to check it out, the whole episode's awesome. So I'd recommend watching the whole episode of Retro Gaming Sunset. But anyway, GameFan is one of my favorite magazines. So in that episode of Retro Gaming Sunset, this is the issue we're covering in that one. And it's sort of a shorter look at it. You know, it's only like 5 minutes long. So that is cool. And then today, we're going to be checking out this one, which is issue 3, and has lots of awesome nostalgic bits and info in it. And then additionally, the music that you're hearing playing right now is off of the data discs number 10, and this is Galaxy Force 2 and also Thunderblade. And this is such a cool soundtrack, so I thought it would be a really good accompanying piece to the magazine. So, with that said, kick back, get yourself something to drink, and enjoy this episode of Reading Retro. Alright, so here's issue number 3 of GameFan. You'll see the date is January 1993. As always, Diehard GameFan shows you, I think most of the gaming magazines showed you what was listed up top. So you can see Super Nintendo, Genesis, TurboGrafx, Neo Geo, Lynx, and Game Gear, which is kind of an interesting assortment. But yeah, it's talking about Battletoads, they're back, 16-bit style. GameFan exclusive Road Blaster, and then Fatal Fury 2 world exclusive. First picks of Nintendo's first SFX game, Star Fox, and then looks like a fighting game special is included, and then 1992 picks of the year. So again, this is January 93, so that's why it's kind of going there. And then lots of reviews. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on. Right off the bat, we've got a duo. Look at that. That's interesting too. It's got a price comparison. So it says Turbo Duo versus your Sega CD system, $299. Look at that. It's like adding it all up. Total price of the Sega system. And then it's like getting $50 to have fun. They've got a looks like an ordering form here. Kind of interesting. So that's the first page that you see, which obviously would be an awesome system to get back then. And then here's the table of contents, which is cool. I've always loved GameFan and how bright and vivid the colors are. Just seems like everything just looks like it's popping out of the pages to me. So this is going to be a pretty good one. Now here's the Editorial Zone. I'm not going to go and read all this stuff to you, but it talks about the different staff. E-Storm, Bud D, Otto, Big J, and Taco, 99, Yoshi. And then it's interesting too because Dave Halverson, he's kind of the editor-in-chief here. And then it's interesting because these guys would actually become different characters or, I don't know, personalities as they would review their magazine or review games. So this is the first page ad. We've got Captain America and the Avengers. This was such an awesome arcade game, and the art is just, you know, phenomenal. I remember actually getting this on Sega Genesis and playing it. That's what this ad is for. It's not a horrible game in my opinion, but it's not that great. The you know, the arcade game is awesome. So over here you've got your top 10. Sonic 2, Genesis, oh, and the most wanted too. So Sonic CD is the most wanted. Of course, Streets of Rage 2 is most wanted. Final Fight CD, Sunset Riders, Phantasy Star 4, Time Gal, Batman Returns, Dragon Warrior 5, Road Rash 2, and Xeria 2, Super CD. You know, I missed that game. But that's cool if they have a Super CD game in there. In the top 10, Sonic 2, Street Fighter 2, Final Fantasy 2, Mario Kart, of course, World Heroes on the Neo, NHLPA Hockey on Super Nintendo, Wonder Dog on Sega CD, Zelda on Super Nintendo, TMNT 4 on Super Nintendo, and Cobra Command on the Sega CD. So, pretty awesome. There's also a contest here, so I can't remember what it is. It's like if you, each time if you write them in, I can't remember what it is. You take your picks and send them in, and then if you win, you actually can win these things. So in this case, it was a Sega Genesis, or let's see, yes, Sega Genesis, either that, a Super Nintendo, or a Lynx. And yeah, third prize, you get a free year of GameFan, and then it tells you who won. So there's, you know, the last, I guess, month's winners. Of course, I never did any of those. I never did any contests or anything. Hocus Pocus is going to be like the codes. So this shows like Sonic CD, or how to get supersonic in Sonic 2, which is really awesome actually. And then they've got some other things in here, Super Monaco GP2, and what is that? Battle Blaze on Super Famicom, Ramna 1 and 2, and Super CD. I love the way that their layout is on all these pages. Oh, and Atomic Runner. How there's like a background image, the text is always brightly colored, and yeah, it just always looks really good. Over here, got the ad for, what is this? Baseball, no, Battle Up, or Batter Up by Namco for Super Nintendo. Now this is where they kind of go through and review. It's kind of a nightmare to look at, honestly, but you can get some initial scores of what the games are. So, you know, Streets of Rage 2, for example, you know, shows overwhelming 97, 95, 97, 97. I mean, that's an excellent game. Crew Ball, I love Crew Ball. I really like Crew Ball. I've always loved that game. I actually have a review of that game, like a full-length review. I'll put a link to that, you can check it out. The scores aren't that great, but yeah, the music in it's really cool. So, Revenge of Shinobi 2, of course that game scored really high. And yeah, so this is, oh, look at that, Night Trap. There's Night Trap. Literally just yesterday, Limited Run came out with Night Trap on the PS4 and PC. Now, the reviews are not that great because the game was kind of tricky to figure out. You have to be in the exact right spaces, you know, at the right time. Road Blaster, that's a great game. What's that one? Landstalker. Oh man, look, there's 100. Landstalker is awesome. Just a great game. So yeah, you can see it just did very well. And each person kind of reviews it and talks about, you know, their scores and stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna go on here. Oh, there was Sewer Shark. You can see just tons of reviews. So we've got some other good ones. Battle Clash. I remember that. That was horrible. And then over here we've got Hit the Ice, Bonanza Brothers, Spriggan 1, Spriggan 2. So those are for Super CD and PC Engine. And then over here, Alpha Mission 2, Blues Journey. So kind of cool just to see all these old reviews. Now, right up top here is the Sega sector. So this is where you're going to find like the Sega Genesis games, or I think Game Gear too. But you can see how like the visuals on these magazines are just incredible. So this is Battletoads, the Genesis game. I actually recently picked this one up. So pretty cool. And then World of Illusion, which again is just such a really great game. Gotta love these old Disney games. I mean, they really were impressive at the time. And again, yeah, the artwork here is just sweet. I mean, it was always fun to look at. Streets of Rage 2. I actually do remember looking at this particular magazine and just thinking, I can't wait to play that game. I mean, I loved side-scrolling beat-em-ups. And here, I think it was Mr. X in the background there. The music is amazing. And then here's Crew Ball. So, again, Motley Crue. The music is awesome on this. I think the music's by Brian Schmidt, if I remember correctly. And some, you know, renditions of Motley Crue songs, too. Lotus Turbo Challenge. Shinobi 2, another classic game. Genesis was kind of on fire at this time. I felt like, I don't know, man, that's what I had when I was a kid. I had the Genesis. I eventually got the Super Nintendo, but I just didn't have nearly as many games for it as I did the Genesis. So mostly I was playing like early releases like Last Battle, Altered Beast, Strider. That was an early one. Now here's a really interesting game, Willy Beamish. This is on Sega CD. I have actually beat this game, and it's kind of an adventure, like point and click style game. It's pretty good. You know, it's a good story. It's definitely fun. And then here is Sewer Shark, which is interesting. It's really hard to see the logo up here. They kind of blended that in so harsh. So Sewer Shark, I think, was Digital Pictures, which was the same company that did Night Trap, if I remember right. There's a couple actors on that, you know, as well. Black Hole Assault is a fighting game. It's not very good, but, you know, it's still okay. It's just not that great. Good old Sega CD. And then, of course, here's Night Trap. I actually have Night Trap in Sega CD, Sega 32X, and for the 3DO. I'm a fan of Dana Plato. I thought she was awesome, and I do enjoy this game. It is tricky though. It's not an easy game by any means. The only time I've ever beat it was when I followed a guide, and that was like in the early 2000s, where I was able to find a guide and actually do it. For the limited run release, that was a nightmare. Without getting into it too much, I was able to get the standard edition, but I could not secure the collector edition, which I was hoping to get. This is Annette Again. You know, I never played that. I have no idea. It says it's by Wolf Team, so it does say Mega CD, so yeah, I don't actually know much about that game. It looks pretty cool, kind of anime style. And then here's Shakan, or Shakan, the Forever Man. This is one of my favorite games on Genesis. It's not that great, but I love the art style, the monsters, the music. This game freaked me out when I was a kid. I actually beat it thinking I was beating it, and I was actually just playing on practice mode, and it unlocked an entire like other set of levels, and it just kind of blew my mind. I remember like getting to that point like really late in the morning, like 2, 3 a.m. when I was a kid, and it just freaked me out. I mean, the monsters in this game are really intensely creepy, and the artist is Raz, R-A-Z, and so he actually made comics of this character too. But yeah, it's kind of a cool game. I don't know, the art just really blew me away at the time. So here's Road Blaster Effects. Now, Road Blaster Effects, that's interesting, because I don't remember the effects part on there, but I remember Road Blaster on the Sega CD, so I just didn't know it said effects. But it's basically like a quick time event kind of game. It's like Dragon's Lair. You know, you have to like hit gas and brake and left and right at specific times. It's a fun game. You know, it takes some getting used to as far as the controls, but it is a good game. And yeah, we've got a 2-page spread on it. And again, I don't know, man, these game fans to me were pretty much the primo artistic style magazine, just all the screenshots. And I read once that the way that they captured their screenshots was they actually took pictures of their CRTs, and they would do that kind of masterfully at the time. And that was just one reason why things looked so insane. Now what is this? No Bunga and his Ninja Force. Mega CD. I don't know what game that is, you guys. Is this... what is this? I have no idea. Pretty interesting. Let's zoom in on some of these shots here. Yeah, so it says for Mega CD, the shooter looks pretty cool. I'm not sure what this could be. The Lest, so is it like Musha? Can't tell. Might be Musha. I'm not sure though. If it's on the Sega CD, that wouldn't make sense. It seems like if I remember, there was a game called Robo Eliste or Eliste or whatever on Sega CD. So maybe that's it. And this is before it was released in the US. So this is the Mega CD title. But yeah, that's a weird name. Nobunga. Nobunaga. Nobunaga and his Ninja Force. Landstalker. Love this game. Pretty tough, actually. I remember going to a game store in like 2001, and I could not get the guy who worked there's attention. He was just hooked playing this game. It's an isometric game, kind of like you have these puzzles, dungeons, and just the graphics are really unique. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted this game so bad based on this exact spread, and it took me years before I could play it. So it was one of those games when I finally got to play it, I liked it, but it wasn't as impressive as I think as if I could play it new, you know. But going back to it, it is pretty tough, but it is really fun. It's a rewarding game. Every time you get through a section, you feel like you're kind of extremely smart, so that's always good. This is Super League CD. I guess it's a baseball game. I don't have that one. Sega Sports. I don't know what that is. Not sure which baseball game that is on Sega CD, but kind of cool. And then here's some previews coming up. So there's Chuck Rock. What's that? Game number 2, the Bitmap Brothers, Xenon 2. Kind of hard to tell what that one is, actually. And then full page review on Echo up here. That's kind of cool. So Chuck Rock, Sega CD. From the producers of Outrun comes Junkers High. I don't actually remember that game. And then, what's this one? Not sure what that is either. Sega of America, one-on-one fighting. I don't know what that game is. Kind of interesting. EA's new Genesis action game, Risky Woods. Oh, this is Majin Saga. That's what it is. It's kind of hard to find the titles for some of these. Deadly Moves. Oh, that's hilarious. Now that game's pretty bad. Deadly Moves is just awful. Does that say it's great? What's that say? It was great on the Super Nintendo. According to Kaneko. I don't know about that. Yeah, and then Sega or Sonic CD right here. So this is a preview of that. Of course, that game was insane when that came out. That game was something else. Let's see what else we got. Planet Super Nintendo. So now we're getting into it now. So again, Battletoads. This is the and look at that. Just seriously, like the graphics of this were just so cool. Print style. Everything felt like it was 3D. Very cool. And then again, look at the font colors. I mean, it's kind of hard to read, but it can be done. But it just kind of felt like when you were reading these magazines, like these game fans, that, you know, I don't know, you're almost like playing the game, just in a different media. That's how it seemed. Whirlo, you know, I don't know what that is. trying to think if I just saw that at the store the other day, though, because I made fun of this weird Super Nintendo game name. It might have been Whirlo, but I haven't played that. Conco's Caper. Yeah, I've never played that one either. It looks like a 2D platformer. You can see there's some shots there. So yeah, I'm not familiar with that game either. I don't know what that one is. Congo's Caper. Death Valley Rally. So this is the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner game. Came out on Super Nintendo. I do have this game. I actually usually like those WB style cartoon games. And then this is Firepower 2000. I'm not sure. I've never played that one. So it looks like a top-down shooter. I'm guessing that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. And then, whoa, lost a page. Oh my god. That'll happen on these old mags. Look at that. Keep it in there. I think this is the center. So, and here's Gun Force. And I haven't played Gun Force. It's definitely a pretty cool game. SD Battle Sock. Now I don't know if that's like, looks like they've got Ultraman there. I've not played that. Great Gundams versus the Ultra Heroes. Interesting. Yeah, I never played that one. And then over here, it looks like it's style of Q*bert, or a game of Q*bert there. I never played that either. And then Battle Clash. Now, Battle Clash, if I'm not mistaken, worked with the Super Scope. I think it did. The game that this reminded me of was Death Duel on the Genesis, and on the Genesis, that game was made by like Razorsoft, which was always like gory, like bloody and stuff, but Battle Clash I think isn't that good if I remember right. And then here's a double page spread of Super Mario Kart. So yeah, pretty awesome when this came out. I mean honestly, this game was really fun, but what kind of drove me crazy was when you were playing single player, I did not like how it was like a map. You know, the map on the bottom of the screen. I think it was useful, but I didn't like games anytime it took away from the overall screen size. I don't know. Something about that kind of bothered me. But with that said, it's still a great game. And it's cool to see that it's featured in a double page spread like this. And then this is pretty cool too. Rainbow Road. That's a pretty tough track. But yeah, this was an awesome game. And then the Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse. Again, another double page spread. So pretty cool. Good old Mickey. Lots of screenshots, really kind of show you what the game's about. Definitely had bright, colorful graphics and stuff, but I really played the Genesis games more, so I never really got into this one, but if you did, let me know. I kind of missed out on that. Magical Quest. And then this is Bulls versus Blazers, which, oh man, yeah, I actually remember playing that. Pretty cool. All-Star Challenge. It's weird, the one Super Nintendo game I played was the NCAA basketball, and it had like really cool scrolling, like courtside. I don't know. It was like, I don't know if it used the FX chip, but it was pretty cool. Here's some previews. And you've got Albert's Odyssey. There's F-Zero. And what's that up top? Kataro's Adventure. And then over here, Batman Returns, which I always liked the Sega CD version the best, partly because of the music. Dead Dance, played that one. And then, oh, this is funny. Isn't this the Looney Tunes or what? Yeah, Tiny Toons. I actually played that. I had that one. And it was kind of fun. It was like almost like mini games, like football games. This one here was like racquetball. So that was kind of cool. Let's see what this is. Alien vs. Predator. You know, I never played that either. I think I might have that. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember if I played that one. That one looks pretty cool. What is this? Culture Brain's all-new addition to Super Chinese World Part 2. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Fatal Fury, hot on the heels of Fatal Fury, Baseball 2020, which is a Neo Geo port, I believe. Oh, and here's the Hori Commander. That's kind of cool. That's a pretty awesome, like, Street Fighter 2 controller. Pretty much any fighting game, honestly. For the Super Nintendo. I don't have one of those. So, Iguana Entertainment hiring, looks like, or I'm guessing that's what it is. Now, Iguana, it's weird because I know they made a lot of games on N64, but the one that really pops up is Turok, because as soon as you start the game, it was like this lizard would come out, and it just kind of made me think of that. Video game distribution by Tomo, kind of cool. Turbo Tunes. So I'm guessing this is the TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine section. So Hit the Ice. It's kind of a cool hockey game. You can, you know, it's kind of wackier, I guess. It's, what's the one that's on the base, or the basketball one? I can't think of. Arch Rivals, maybe? Kind of like that. This is the Turbo Duo section. I mean, these were just completely out of my reach when I was a kid. There was just no way. I did play TurboGrafx 16. A friend of mine eventually traded me one, and so I had one, but I never had the Duo. I don't have a Duo now either. But yeah, there's Airzonk, Riot City. Let's see what else we got. Bonanza Brothers, Exile. You know what? There's some ads for Exile coming up. I hope that those show up at some point. I don't know if they're in this magazine. Shapeshifter, Forgotten Worlds. I played that on Genesis. Gate of Thunder, Lord of Thunder, and Jim Power. And then we've got Dragon Slayer, Shockman. So pretty cool. And then up here we've got Bonanza Brothers, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like that came to Genesis. Maybe it eventually came to Genesis, but I never really got into this one either, and I think it's supposed to be pretty good. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I never really got into it, so it's kind of hard to talk much about it. But Spriggan Mark II, never played that either. Looks pretty cool. And there looks like a kind of a, can't tell if it's just like a shoot 'em up. Looks like it is. Actually, it looks really cool. Those must be cutscenes or something. I can't really tell. Those are gameplay screens. It says Darius and Gradius are coming to Super CD, so it's just saying that down here. So, pretty cool. Obviously, the TG, or the TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine had lots of good shooters. This is Spriggan 1. I'm not sure. It's interesting that they would have two, Part 1 and Part 2 at the same time, but look at how crazy the graphics are on this page. It's just like you can easily get lost in like, where's the text begin, where's the screenshots begin, you know, it's just nuts. But I still love this stuff. And then we've got Game Ground. And yeah, I never got to play that one either. Big fan of the Sega version. Coming out on CD, it says. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. Gym Power. I don't remember if that was like a cartoon or something. Pretty cool. So many awesome games for that system. Someday I'm gonna get one and try it out. And then we got not that many previews, but we've got a few down here. So Cotton. So that's that shooter with like the witches, I think, on brooms. And then there's another one. What's this one? Gradius. Konami's Gradius. And then Fight 2, if you don't. Here's your chance. Image Fight 2. Okay. And then Magic Cool, Hudson's new 3/4 view action RPG. And then Kaiden 00. So yeah, I don't know that one either. Looks interesting. We've got an ad for Pushover by Ocean on the Super Nintendo. It says it's for the Amiga, IBM, Super Nintendo. It's an interesting setup. And then look, you can see Jurassic Park there, coming in 1993. So here we are, jumping right into Neo Geo. Every time I looked at this section has blew me away. I mean, just the colors, you know, of these games, the graphics of these games, everything looked bigger, you know, more crisp, totally arcade style. I would just drool over this section, you know. I could never get enough of this, honestly. So, Alpha Mission 2, Sengoku 2, and here you can totally see that these screenshots are just pictures. These are pictures from like a CRT. They didn't really have capturing back then, but the way it's just laid out, and it says here, recently the Neo Geo has been bombarded by quality one-on-one fighting games. So, let's see what else they got. Blues Journey. This one looks kind of wacky. I've never played that. Blues Journey. Pretty weird. Yep. Finally, an arcade joystick for your Super NES. What is that? Championship joystick. I don't think I've ever seen that. I think that back in the day I wanted one of those so bad, but I could never get one. And then here's just a cool piece of art that they have. It's got the Goro and, oh man, what's that lady's name? I can't remember her. Is she in Time Killers? Or Soul Calibur wasn't out. So, Guile, Chun-Li. But yeah, kind of cool. And then this guy is the GameFan mascot. And I think his name is the Monitor. Kind of funny. But yeah, he's on a lot of covers and stuff. Eventually, he kind of wasn't popping up as much. But and then here's Fatal Fury. So this game was amazing. I played this a lot on, I think it was Sega Genesis. So, oh look, they show the different versions here. So, Super Famicom, and there's a Neo Geo, and it looks like kind of a screenshot comparison, which really doesn't look that bad. A little bit, I don't know, less detail. And then Power Athlete. And Fist of the North Star 6. This looks like an interesting fighter. Crazy looking. Completely never played that one. Art of Fighting. Love that game. This game was something else, man, when that one came out. And then Street Fighter 2. Now, where am I? It must just be in the fighting section. Oh, that's what's going on. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, we've kind of switched over to just different fighting games. I forgot that there was a fighting special in this. Battle Blaze. I never played that either. Battle Blaze. Interesting. Ramna and a half. Brass Numbers. No idea what that one is. Huh. It's crazy. Of course, Mortal Kombat's awesome. They've got some special moves listed there. This would almost be like your guide, you know, to all the fighting games. And then here's the final analysis, looks like, of the different reviews. Right off the bat, you can see Fist of the North Star appears to have the worst reviews. 45%, 42. Ooh, it doesn't look so good. Ramna's kind of next to it, but anyway, kind of cool, just a comparison. Ultimate Fighter. Interesting. And then Golden Mega Awards, the best of 1992. So we've got different things like the best action platformer, Wonder Dog, and these are the different guys like voting too. So, you know, best action fighting, TMNT, Hyperstone Heist, Streets of Rage 2, best shooter, Air Zonk, Thunder Force 4, Space Megaforce, best RPG, Soul Blazer. I love Soul Blazer. What do we have for simulations? Steel Talons, Battle Tank, best cartoon game, Tasmania. I love Tasmania. Alien 3, best movie game. That is a great game. And then Art of Fighting, Neo Geo, Street Fighter 2, best strategy, War Song, Action Adventure, Legend of the Mystical Ninja, Cybernator. I love that game. Street Fighter 2 just takes it as far as arcade translation. Best handheld games. So, pretty cool. Ooh, let's go to the worst games. This is funny. All THQ games. That's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh. Best import game, Landstalker, Proteus, Final Fantasy 5, I think. Yep. And then here's the portable section. Hands-on portables. This month we're going to concentrate on the Game Gear. So we've got Streets of Rage. I guess that would be part 2. Or is it 1? Axel Blaze. That's part 1, I think. Shining Force. That's interesting. Chuck Rock. Over here, and they've got the reviews kind of popping up too. So Prince of Persia, and what is that? Looks like Aliens or Alien 3, and then not sure what's going on here. Terminator game. Are you looking for some pumptitude for your Game Gear? Says Arnold down here. Kind of crazy. Defender Oasis. Not sure what that one is. Best RPG for the handheld. The Graveyard. This is talking about ghouls and ghosts, I think. Is that what I'm saying? During a short run, 6-game battle ace, Transort. Special Graveyard. Bid farewell to an awesome system. Unfortunately, never got the support it deserved. The super graphics. Wow, that's cool. That system looks awesome. So these are just some various games, I guess, that came out on it. Pretty cool. Granzort. Wow, it's like lost forever in time. Look at these screenshots. I'm not sure if it ever got ported anywhere else. But kind of cool. Let's see what else there is. Oh, that's it. Game CD music. So here's where you could get your soundtracks. Outrun, definitely very cool. Afterburner, Street Fighter 2. Other stuff. I have so much to tell you about this month. It's like the Panasonic 3DO is being talked about. So that's pretty interesting, saying how it's going to change the shape of gaming as we know it. Sony is making SNK's CD for the Neo Geo. And Sylphid. I love Sylphid. I have another review of that game. And I'll link that too. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for the Meg CD. Super Empire Strikes Back. Total Carnage. Mortal Kombat. So, pretty cool. Bunch of other stuff coming up. And we've got Final Fight 2 by Capcom. That's a cool game. Dead Dance. They talked about that earlier. Twin Bee. Those ladies. Cool Spot. Here's just a few of SNK's 93 lineup. 100 meg action RPG Crystallis. Fatal Fury 2. Honestly, so cool. Oh, and there's Star Fox. Here it is, the first SFX game for Super Nintendo. Even though these screenshots are early, we get the message. The SNES can now scale polygons. Might be in the low frame rate, but it happens. Other sources tell us this game plays like a dream. Pretty cool. R-Type. R-Type Leo? It's an arcade game, I guess. Oh, this hologram fighting game. That's pretty unique. Hollow Fighter, if I remember right. I can't remember what that one's called. Hyper Edition. And then Battletoads. Looks like this is Battletoads, the arcade game down here. That's cool. That's a great game. It's so fun. It's like so well done too. It's like just super high quality. Diehard. Now, this is going to be like a place where you can order your games. That's funny because they call it Diehard. I can't remember as well, but I believe that GameFan actually had stores for a while, and I think they were called Diehard. So I don't know if this is that, you know, the catalog, but it seems like it might be. Yeah, I think it is because they're in Ventura Boulevard, Tarzana, California. I'm pretty sure that's one of the locations of where Diehard GameFan was. I think you could buy games there. I don't know. I never had one near me. Postmeister is going to be just letters, you know, like letters to the editor, people complaining, complimenting, correcting, all that stuff. And then schedule just talks about the release dates of various games. You can see that Genesis was kind of going crazy. They got a lot of Sega CD, Super Nintendo. Some of the titles coming up. Equinox, Chester Cheetah on the Super Nintendo, TurboGrafx, Forgotten Worlds. So, pretty cool. And then this is on the right, kind of the back page of Muhammad Ali boxing for the Sega Genesis. And then on the very back page, we've got Still Talents by Tenjin. And yeah, so this game's pretty good. I don't know. I always liked it, but it was a little choppy and kind of hard to tell what was going on sometimes. But anyway, that's it for GameFan. That was a step through 1993 of January. If you enjoyed this, let me know, because I will do some more. I know it's kind of long, but I thought it was kind of cool to do it like this. So until next time, you guys know what to do. You keep that shit retro by reading your old GameFans later on.